Well, welcome. I'm really excited that you're able to be here. And if you're not here in person and you're watching this, I'm sorry that you couldn't ask your questions in person. But I'm so glad that I'm able to help as many people as have asked me how you can find so many different ideas for books. I'm here basically to ask you some questions. Well, welcome. I'm really excited that you're able to be here, and if you're not. And for some reason, I'm getting feedback, so sorry about that. The questions that I ask you will basically, if you have a yes to any of these questions, then you definitely have at least one book in you. And maybe you have kind of an idea of what you want for a book, but you just don't know how to organize it. So this might help you organize your books and in the way that you write your first book as well. So if you don't know me, I'm hoping you know me because you signed up to watch this. But basically, my name is Brenda Trott. I've written over 30 books, and they all sell. Some of them sell more than others, and more than one has been a #1 best-selling book on Amazon. So I get asked these kinds of questions a lot, and that's why I decided to go ahead and put this together for you so that I can help you figure out which type of book is best for you. So at least for your first book. And maybe you'll get ideas for more and more books, and that's always a great thing too, as long as you start with one. So here's my first question for you. Do you answer the same questions over and over again? I know when I sold insurance, or even when I was in the business of daycare, I would get asked the same questions over and over again. I felt like I should be carrying around a pocket recorder and just, back then when you had recorders in your pocket, but I felt like I should just carry one around and press play because people asked the same questions of me over and over again. And when I answered, you didn't even have to think because you know that your answers were just coming out and they were the same thing over and over again. And so if that happens to you, then this is a great book. It's actually a great client getting book. This is how you can attract clients, because those clients will see the same questions that they have about you and your industry, and you can answer those questions for them. And if you have all the answers, then you are the one that they need to go to in order to get some help. So if you answer the same questions over and over again, congratulations, you practically have a book written for you already. Okay, here's my next question. Are there mistakes that people make that are avoidable? Oh my gosh, let's talk about the insurance industry. People would make these mistakes again and again. How about choosing the wrong deductible when they were in insurance, or waiting to get insurance because they thought, or waiting to apply, or going off of medication because they thought that going off of medication would get them a better rate the next time, or that they could get insured the next time. And it didn't work that way. We have different laws now, but these were things that really broke my heart that I got to see them do again and again. So if you've got mistakes, let's say 3, this is something that Jeff, wow, his name will come to me in a minute, but he does templates, and this is one of his most famous templates, are the 3 mistakes that people do and how to avoid them. And he'll tell you to write these into articles. And I'm going to tell you that you can expand this even more and make this into an actual book. It's a great mini book on its own, or you could add that inside the other book with all the questions that people ask, that you could move on to the mistakes that people make and tell them what to do to avoid it. So if they're going to do one thing, tell them what to do next. So again, another great mini book that's practically written for you. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, this is what's called a how-to book. So let's say, for example, you've got whatever your business is, and mine is helping others get found online and create authority. And one of the biggest things that I help them do is create books that help them gain that authority. So one of the things that a skill that they need to have is how to outline. So I could do a perfect how-to book would be how to outline your book, or how to decide what book to do. And that's what I'm doing right now. So that's a skill. It's a decision-making thing. If your business has a certain skill that people need, this is another great how-to skill. And don't be afraid here to give away your secrets. There's an old story about a newspaper man, not a newspaper man, but an advertising writer, and he decided to take out a full page ad in the newspaper one year, and he told everybody exactly how to write ad copy. He said, do this and do this and don't do this and do this. Full ad paper. Told them all of his secrets, how to do it. And guess what? People called him and wanted him to do it for them. Even though he told them exactly how to do it, that just means that you're the expert. So don't be afraid to give away your secrets here in showing people what your skill is. When you can show your secrets, that just shows that you're the expert, and they're going to want to do it for you, or want you to do it for them. So that's another great how-to book right there. Now, these are fun. Are there people who inspire you? I like to quote Warren Buffett a lot. And so this makes a great, you see on the right-hand side, I said that it makes a fantastic quote book. Well, what you do is you write down the quote, and you might find a graphic or a photo that illustrates that quote, and then write down what to do about that quote. So, for example, I don't have a quote. One thing I talk about is how Warren Buffett doesn't ever write to his group of stockholders. Instead, he writes as though he's talking just to his sister. So I go into a whole discussion about how when you write in a book or on a blog post or anywhere else, you really need to be talking directly to one person, and that would be your avatar. And so that's a whole nother thing that I talk about in my in my program. But basically what I'm saying here is that I would be able to take a quote that Warren Buffett said, and then I'd explain to you what that means in this business. So you can do the same thing. What are some famous quotes that people said, and write it right into your book. Now, quote books are great on their own. You can also do calendar quotes. You can do calendars with quotes. You can do many things with the quotes, but they don't always have to be a book. But you can do it on its own. However, this is also a great thing to add in as not exactly filler or fluff, because nobody likes filler or fluff, but it's great added value to the books that you currently have. So, for example, if we were to write this one here, answering the same questions over and over again, well, are there any quotes that we can talk about when you're making a specific point? We can add that in as an added value for what you're doing. Another thing that you can do is if people quote you. I have a friend, Ronald Earl Wilshire, and he actually says his own quotes over and over again, and I can't get the guy to sit down or even pass me along these quotes so I can build them into a book for him. But if people tend to quote you and what you do, if they're making memes out of the things that you say, then you'll want to go ahead and make your own quote book. Or you can quote yourself within the book that you've written. So those are just a few of the ways that you can go ahead and get your own book written without really any kind of trouble. The types of things are almost written for you even when you look at them. And they make fantastic books, and they make client-getting books. So let's just run through them real quick again. Do you answer the same questions over and over again? Most people who've been doing their business for a while have done that. They answer the same questions over and over and over. And all you need to do is actually record these questions and then type them out, because it's different when you talk it than when you type it, and then go through and edit it so it looks readable rather than just a transcription. Now, if you want to add value to that, throw some quotes in there. Okay? Quotes that people like to quote you about, or something that you think is just extra remarkable that you really want them to remember, or quotes from other people who have inspired you into the actions that you need to take, or who even famous ones like Thomas Edison that will help people to take note of what you said and really help hone in on your point about those things. You can also, for added value, add the mistakes that people make, the things that really break your heart, the things that they can avoid by doing something differently. These can all actually go into one book, and it would be very, very simple to do. The other thing that we talked about was the how-to. Now this one's a little bit more difficult. This is the one that your third grade teacher made you practice. How do you tie your shoe? You have to put a loop on the one, and how do you describe a loop? So this one's a little bit more difficult. However, if it's done right, there might be things that you can do. Your skill, just pick one. If you pick just one skill for one book, it might be a shorter book, or it could be a chapter in another book. You'd generally be okay with the how-tos. And then I really can't add enough about how you can really add value by just adding a few quotes in there. So those are the types of books that you can write. And like I said, just go ahead and answer those questions. I like to use a system called it's called freeconferencecalling.com. And you can call freeconferencecalling.com and actually record what you're doing, and they will they'll host it and everything, so you can go back to it and listen to it. You can transcribe it yourself, or you can send it out to be transcribed. So very, very simple types of things to do. And I'm just going to see if I can, forgive me, I'm kind of new at doing this particular type of thing live. So I'm going to see if I can figure out, I might get a whole bunch of inside windows or whatever, but I'm going to see if there's any questions that are going on. Let me see if I can find any questions. Okay. Let me go try again here. Oops. Q&A, let's see. Okay, so I don't see any right now. I apologize if I missed it. If I did, I can send out another email with all the questions that I missed, or you can shoot me an email, and here we go with the interlooping thing. So let's see if I can get off of that. And what I'm going to do is show you, I do, if you'd like some help, I set something up. I normally charge $250 per chapter. And what I do is I'll get on the phone and I will help you get through each and every chapter of your book, and that costs $250. I'll get it transcribed, and then I'll go through the transcription with you and help you make a doable book. And that's actually a pretty good deal if you look at the cost of ghostwriting and that kind of stuff. However, I really want to help others get their books done. So what I'm going to do is a little bit different, and I'm going to host events like this. We'll have 3 of them to get you started, and we're going to do it for a lot less. So let me just show it to you real quick. Now here's where my replay is going to be. So let's see if I can show you here. So we'll have 3 live hangouts, and if you miss them, they'll all be recorded. If I miss a recording, I have missed recordings before, I'll actually redo it so you'll get it, okay? And then I will also show you how to promote your book. I'll show you how to do it yourself, or I'll show you places that you can outsource. That will be one of them. And then I'm also going to show you how to use your book to get more clients. And like I said, that's normally $250 for one chapter, when I actually help you, ask the questions and those kind of things. And that's a discount in itself, because I normally charge about $500 an hour to work with someone one-on-one. But today I'm going to do all 3 of these for only $297, and so that's helping you get your stuff done. Now what I didn't put on there is I'm also helping you figure out your graphics, where to get your graphics done. If you know how to do them yourself, then you're way ahead of me. I always have to outsource my stuff because I want it done right. There are ways to do it right inside of CreateSpace, which is the place that I use, and that kind of thing. But we'll go over all of that too. And then I'm going to add these bonuses too, because I'm actually kind of excited that I figured out to do this. I don't know why I haven't offered it before, because I have so many people asking me for help, and then it was beyond their reach. So I will give you that one. Remember I said I charge $500 an hour when I actually do hourly. I don't like to do it. But I'm going to give you, as part of this program, a whole hour coaching. So we can split that into two. And so I'll talk to you before you get your book done to make sure that I'll actually talk to you before we start the program. And we'll talk about which type of book you're going to do and make sure that you're ready for the outline before you start the program. And then we'll do another one either during or after if you get stuck or if you just need some help getting going. And then I'm also going to invite you, and I don't have a price for this because I don't generally sell spots on Pajama Party Profits. But if you're one of if you're someone who's actually followed my directions and went ahead and decided that you are going to go ahead, I'm sorry here, that you're going to work with me and you're going to actually get your book done, then one really big incentive that I'm going to do for you is I'm going to put you on my show. It's a vlog right now. It is kind of